Okay, I believe we are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Ben Salisbury. I'm excited to be here with you today, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Covington, Kentucky. It's a gorgeous spring day, sunny and 60 something degrees. Thanks for tuning in today. I have a very exciting program I want to share with you, all about how to hire a killer salesperson. I hope the term killer doesn't offend anyone. What I'm talking about is a salesperson who just goes out and kills it, makes their sales goal consistently every single year. Who doesn't want a salesperson like that on their team, or even better, a whole team full of them? So I'm going to jump in right now and walk you through my little presentation. If at any time you have comments or questions, you can put those in the comments section. So here we go. First off, if you've never done LinkedIn Live and you have an interest in LinkedIn Live, I highly recommend StreamYard software. It's the software that I use. And if you're interested, you can send me a private message. I'll give you my affiliate link, which will save you a little money. And I'm happy to give you advice about how to get started on this tool. But I love StreamYard. You have to have a third-party software when you're going live. And this is a great one to have. So I have a long track record of selling and leading successful sales teams. You can see a little bit of my resume here on the screen. My last corporate job, which is almost 8 years ago now, I was the vice president of national accounts on premise for Constellation Brands. That the team I had at the time is in the top right picture of this slide. Before that, I was vice president of global accounts and on-premise strategy for St. Michel Wine Estates for 12 years. I have worked with, hired, trained, and been in awe of some pretty amazing salespeople over the years. So I really do know a thing or two about how to spot a great talent when I see it. And everyone has an opinion, right? And when it comes to opinions about how to hire and train and find successful salespeople, make sure you're listening to someone who's had sales success, not just theory. These are the 12 years that I spent at St. Michel Wine Estates. The team that I led there over that 12-year period of time, a lot of the same core people were there the whole time. Amazing, amazing sales talent. And look what we were able to do together. So what I learned along the way, going from 50,000 cases a year to 465,000 cases a year, is what I teach in my consulting practice. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm a good person to listen to when it comes to this topic. I've also been a consummate reader and student of professional selling. And I'm talking about professional selling, not used car selling, not, features and benefits kind of selling, the kind of selling that turns so many people off. These are the books that fed my brain all of these years to put together winning sales teams and a winning sales strategy. Some of these books are on my desk to this day, are indispensable to me. I hope you enjoy this reading list. But if you want to start digesting some of the things that I've learned, look no further than my YouTube channel. I have a lot of great videos on YouTube about this topic, finding great salespeople, training salespeople, coaching and leading salespeople. I have a lot of great videos all about the sales process in this, new and modern way that's less about features and benefits of the product and a lot more about bringing real value to the business relationship. So check out my YouTube channel if you want to partake in some of the things that I've learned from this great library of work. I also want to let you know that, I'm just now coming up to my 8th year of being a consultant on my own. We've helped more than 50 or 60 wineries and craft distilleries improve their sales strategy and their sales process. And I'm getting ready to launch a brand new private membership group. And you definitely want to get on the list. You can just go to winesalesstimulator.com and get on the wait list. So winesalesstimulator.com will take you to this page. You can fill it out and get on the wait list. You definitely want to do that. This is an amazing program. It's got 12 different classrooms on all of the topics that you see here. These two, modern sales approach and the sales team strategy, are germane to the topic we're talking about today. We have 3 live coaching calls every single week, a sales operations call, a CEO strategy call led by me personally, and a digital marketing and advertising call. So we've got three things: a classroom, a community, and coaching, all within this private group membership. So please get on the wait list. So let's get to today's topic, and let's get to it in earnest. So do you want hardworking self-starters who do not need a lot of day-to-day supervision and consistently achieve their sales goals without complaining or making excuses? I think most people would want this. Easier said than done. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you want these people, you're going to have to hire these kinds of people, because no amount of training or motivation or threats or incentives can change a mediocre salesperson into a great salesperson. You have to hire great salespeople. I know that sounds a bit extreme and a bit harsh, but it's true. Take it from someone who knows. I have hired, trained, fired all kinds of salespeople over a 35-year period of time. And I promise you, having made a lot of hiring mistakes for salespeople, I promise you, if you want to get great sales results, you have to hire great salespeople right from the go. Give them the tools they need, get out of their way, smooth the path out before them, and just let them do their thing. This is the key to high performance selling, no question about it. Now, some of you might disagree with me. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm speaking from my experience, and I'm telling you, you want great salespeople, you got to hire them. Don't worry about training and motivating them, because great salespeople will already come with that built in. I'm going to show you in a second. I do want to talk about this idea of professional selling, because there's a reason that salespeople in the profession of sales has such a bad image, because really professional selling isn't about persuasion or overcoming objections. It's not about being able to give a great presentation. It's not about product knowledge, and that's a real shocker to people in the wine industry for sure. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you really have to have it. It's really just compulsory, and it gets you to the starting line. But product knowledge isn't going to make you a great salesperson. And it's certainly not about the features and benefits of the product. This is how selling was done in the 50s. Okay, so last time I looked at the calendar, it's 2022. If this is how you sell, you're not really participating in a professional, modern way of selling. You're participating in an old, archaic, outdated way. Professional selling is also, it's really not about making lots of sales calls. There's no correlation between the number of sales calls you make and your sales success. That is a misconception. It is a myth, and I'm happy to prove it to you. It's not about calling on lots of accounts. It's really more about calling on the right accounts and calling on them in a way where you're partnering and bringing real business value. It's not about being aggressive either. I mean, I just love seeing some of these ads in job ads, winejobs.com or whatever, where they use the word aggressive. What a turnoff, right? I mean, and your ability to close. I love, if you haven't seen Glenn Ross, I suggest you check it out. It's the epitome of what professional selling is not. Are you getting a clue as to why most people hate salespeople? Nobody likes to be sold to, especially in this way, presenting and doing all the talking and overcoming objections and closing. This is not what I'm about at all. And if you don't agree with this and you believe, hey, Ben, you're nuts, what you just described is professional selling, well, that's fine. We will agree to disagree. We can never be friends, and you certainly will never work on my team or any other team that I'm recruiting for. So what does it look like? What does real selling, professional selling look like? This is what it looks like in a nutshell. Because the sale should merely be a byproduct of a much larger relationship built over time, built upon service, dependability, and trust. That's how you sell a lot. Remember this little chart I just showed you? That's how we did it. It wasn't about being a great presenter or having great closing skills at all. It was about how can we be a source of business advantage to our clients. Do that. You'll sell all the product you could ever want. So it's about bringing real value to the business relationship. The truth is, the more you act like a salesperson, like these slides I was just showing you, the more you act like this, the less you're going to sell. That is an absolute reality. Take my word for it. Ignore my advice at your peril. So I want to go over some characteristics of high performing salespeople. This is what you want to look for. Salespeople who come to the job with the ability to consistently meet their sales goals, they come pre-wired with these characteristics. And the challenge of the sales leader, the hiring person, is to uncover these in your candidates. And if there's a lack of these in the candidates, well, you want to pass on those candidates. You have to go through a lot of interviews to find the right people, but it helps a lot to know what you're looking for. High performing salespeople do not need to be motivated. They don't. They come wired that way. They get out of bed and hit it hard every day because that's how they roll, not because somebody is motivating them to do it. That's just how they operate. Great performing salespeople care deeply about their customers' success. Empathy. And this is in Daniel Pink's book, To Sell is Human, required reading for anyone who has a sales team or anyone who wants to make a living as a salesperson. Get Daniel Pink's book, To Sell is Human. But he talks a lot about empathy. It's the customer who's the hero of this relationship, not you and your product. And so you have to really, truly, honestly, sincerely care about helping your customers succeed. And great salespeople have that in spades. Ironically, and contrary to popular belief, money is not the biggest motivator. It's not the biggest driver of a salesperson. Guess what? Great salespeople expect to be well paid, and they are. But that's not their motivator. In fact, if they're not well paid, they'll leave and go work where they can get well paid. But that's not what gets them out of bed every day and drives them. It's this insatiable desire to win and to be the best that is built into their DNA. Pleasing their customers is what drives them. And of course, they expect to be making a lot of money along the way of doing that. The two go hand in hand. But just dangling carrots in front of your sales team is a huge mistake and a waste of money and extremely annoying to great salespeople. Never, ever. Great salespeople never, ever make excuses. They don't blame things on things that are beyond their control. Oh, the pricing is high. Oh, I don't like the new label. Oh, my distributor won't perform. Oh, it's a down market. Nobody's having success this year. Great salespeople don't ever utter these things. They don't even enter their mind. They find a way to win no matter what the circumstances are. I've been in wine sales and spirit sales since 1984. I've been through several recessions, depressions, price increases, FET tax increases, supply chain problems. I've seen it all. And the idea is to how do you have an up year in the midst of all that? It's certainly possible. It's all about a mindset. And here's the last thing about characteristics of high-performing salespeople. They hate to be micromanaged. They want to work in a high-trust culture where they're given their goals and they're given their portfolio and they've given the tools they need to succeed. And then they want people to get out of their way. If you want to attract these kinds of people, you must work on fostering a high trust culture. Otherwise, you're going to run off all of the great salespeople. Now, this is gold. If you tuned in today and you're watching this live event, or maybe the recording later, I'm just giving you tens of thousands of dollars worth of great advice about how to load up your sales team with winners. This is extremely important. Don't take it lightly. And none of this is theory. But here's the thing. If you want to get these people, you're going to have to learn how to screen for it. And that's what I'm going to get into in a second. It's also good to have a must-have list of 3 things that if they don't have all 3 things, you are not going to hire them. And these are my 3 things that are honed off of many years of getting quality salespeople. First of all, they have to be a hardworking self-starter. They have to get out of bed and hit it hard, whether you're around or not as the leader. That's just how they roll. They need to be super organized. When you're interviewing salespeople, you need to spend a lot of time having them demonstrate to you how organized they are, because it's very hard and maybe even impossible to be a great salesperson unless you're super, super organized, keeping track of details, keeping all of your promises, writing down all the promises you made and fulfilling them. It takes a lot of organization. So it's hard to be a star in a sales role unless you're super, super organized. So I work very hard to screen for that quality. And the third thing is being committed to self-improvement. This is more of a fit thing for me. Salespeople and sales teams, there needs to be a natural fit in terms of the culture. And as the coach, as the leader of the team, I'm very committed to self-improvement, and I want to see that in my team. So I don't really hire people, I don't hire people who can't prove to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are committed to self-improvement too. So have your list. What's your three lists? What's your list of three non-negotiables that you will never ever bend on or compromise on? If you have that and it aligns with what great salespeople are like, you're going to do much better in terms of hiring the right people. So let's talk about how to find and hire them. Okay, and this is not easy because great salespeople usually aren't looking for work. They're not unemployed. They're not scouring the want ads or LinkedIn looking for jobs. Now they're open to it, but they're not actively looking. So they're going to have to be recruited. As the recruiter or as the hiring manager, you're going to need to knock on a lot of doors. You're going to need to tap into your network. You're going to need to ask around. You're probably going to have to swipe this person from another place. That's just a fact. It's hard work. And for any recruiters that are out there, I feel you. It is not easy. Being a recruiter is not easy. It's not just a function of placing an ad and going through a bunch of resumes. It's not, because looking for great salespeople is one of the hardest things you've got to do, and it takes work, a lot of work, a lot of time. I really like to make my job ad stand out. I hate to see a job ad. In a minute, I'm going to show you an example of one of mine. I hate to see a job ad with 20, 30, requirements or 20, 30 job duties that just nobody reads it. No one's going to read it. You know how this works? They go to the job, someone looking for a sales role. They see that you have a sales job. They need a job. They just hit apply. No one reads all that stuff. So when you're putting together a job ad, make sure that it's something they're going to read, which means you got to keep it very short and you got to get right to the point, letting them know what you're looking for. So I'm going to show you an example of this. You need to be a ruthless screener because, I'm a people person. I like people. I tend to fall in love with the candidates because it's fun, right? Meeting people. And most salespeople are pretty charming and pretty charismatic. But you gotta learn how to step back from that and be objective, because just because you like them in the interview process does not mean that they're going to be a great salesperson. So you really have to put your feelings aside and get ruthless on the screening, like background, checking references and asking lots of great questions. And the interview becomes a very almost, sweat-inducing process for the prospect because you're so ruthless about it. But this is how you get great salespeople on the team. You have to screen really ruthlessly. And I think it helps to recognize that you need them more than they need you. Great salespeople are in great demand. They're going to make money no matter where they go. So enticing them, you're going to have to court them. You're going to have to pursue them. And that is an art in itself. So let's look at a particular job ad. Now, I'm going to try to make this a little bigger for you so you can see it a little bit better. Actually, let me get my face out of the way. So this is an actual ad. And by the way, I have a great YouTube video called How to Make Your Job Ad Work for You. I suggest you go to YouTube and search for that title and you can get it. And you see this little chart right here? So let's say 67 people applied for a job. The vast majority of them aren't worth looking at or wasting time on. That's just a fact. The 80-20 rule is real. I'm not trying to be cold, but the 80-20 rule is real. You're looking for the needle in the haystack. You're looking for the stars. You're looking for these two people right here. That's what you're looking for. And the way that you find them starts with scaring off the mediocre applicants with something like this. Here's the job description. Blank company, the world's most awarded blank wine producer, seeks an ambitious, hardworking sales professional to personally build high quality distribution in key accounts and regional chains. Pretty straightforward. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say motivate the distributor, work with the distributor, incentivize the distributor. Because in today's day and age, and I have other videos on this topic, most distributors are completely overwhelmed. You need salespeople on your team who are going to personally go out and sell. We prefer the candidate be based in Austin, Dallas, or Houston. I love this. This is one of my favorite things about writing these job ads. Do not apply for this position unless you, quote, are willing to put in many hours personally calling on accounts. Otherwise, don't waste my time. Don't hit apply. B, never make excuses or blame others, including the distributor, for your lack of performance. And C, don't apply unless you're very tech savvy, including strong proficiency with CRM and social media platforms. Don't waste my time. That's what it takes to be successful as a salesperson in the wine and spirits game today. So I don't want to have my time wasted by people who aren't ready to commit to these things. Compensate. This is another thing I want to put out there too to scare off mediocre people. Compensation is a modest base salary combined with a commission structure that becomes more lucrative as you gain more distribution. Your income is commensurate with your results. This scares off a lot of people, thank goodness. You think great salespeople are worried about making their quota? You think they're worried about making their bonus? Not at all. Not for 1 second are they worried. So you want to speak to those people and you want to scare off everyone else. I love putting in little hoops to make people jump through too, because I want to know who's serious and who's not. I want to know who reads directions, follows directions, because I'm going to have to live with this person for some time if I hire them. Please include resume and cover letter. If you use a cut and paste cover letter, you will immediately be eliminated from contention. Now, I've been doing this a long time. Do you want to know what percentage of people use a cut and paste cover letter, even after I just said you'll immediately be eliminated from contention? More than half still use a cut and paste. If that's their level of attention to detail, how well are they going to be able to take care of my customers? Not very well. You don't want people like that working for you as a salesperson. Your cover letter should tell us why you're interested in this specific position and why you think you're the best candidate for the job. That really becomes the theme moving forward. You're going to have to convince me that you're the best. And when I'm starting to feel it, then I'm going to convince you how badly I want you to come join the team. This is an important part of the process. And by the way, if you're using a recruiter and the recruiter's not using this process, you probably should need a different recruiter. So speaking of that, here's some expert recruiting tips from someone who's hired people in-house as I was working in my corporate life and also working as a recruiter, which is part of what we do at our consulting firm for the last 8 years. Here's some 5 quick tips for you. Number 1, set up little hoops to them to jump through. Give them 3 questions and have them film themselves in a video answering those 3 questions. It's a good check on their tech savviness. It's a good chance to see what their personality is like, how they operate under pressure, how they present. Making a video about yourself is really scary for a lot of people. And great salespeople are no strangers to fear. I mean, it's a scary world out there, going out and making sales calls and knocking on doors, et cetera. So if they can't make a simple video of themselves answering 3 or 4 questions, you just get so much out of those videos. Also, sending them a little Google form or some kind of form with some pre-screening questions. And some of them can be a little bit, trick questions. Like I like to ask people, what percentage of your success is going to be dependent on you personally making sales calls versus the distributor doing selling? Many will say 50-50. Many will say 70-30 in favor of the distributor. That's a trick question. I'm looking for salespeople who are like, if it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's important to me, I'm going to have to do it myself. I'll take whatever I can get from the distributor, but I'm not going to let that stop me from being successful. I'm out there personally selling. How they answer that pre-screening question, even before they get to an interview, could save me hours and hours of wasting my time with them in an interview. So setting up hoops to jump through can really help eliminate mediocre candidates. Look, we're trying to interview for a sales star. They're a needle in a haystack, and you have to have a rigorous process. Another expert recruiting tip is rarely is the person you interview the same person who shows up to work. Everybody looks good in an interview. Everybody's resume looks gorgeous in an interview. Everybody answers all the questions properly. This is one of the things I hate about job ads that list what you're looking for. Go ahead and list what you're looking for in a salesperson. And when that person shows up at the interview, they're going to tell you they have all those things. How ridiculous is that? You, as an interviewer, you're going to discover whether they have them or not through a rigorous question and answer process. So be careful you don't lull yourself into falling in love with the candidate, because rarely the person you interview is the same person who shows up for work. This is another great piece of gold I'm giving you. Number 3, make them comfortable and get them talking. That is the job of an interviewer. Make them feel super comfortable, let their guard down so that you can get their genuineness coming through. Get them talking. Ask a multiple part question to see how good of a listener they are and if they answer both parts. Watch for clues where they say to them, they're thinking to themselves, I think I've gone off on a tangent. I think I'm being a little too chatty. I'm going to dial it back. I mean, you can tell a lot about a person the more you can get them talking. Do they express themselves well? Are they positive? Are they upbeat? Are they articulate? Are they funny? Do they have a sense of humor? The only way to find that out is to get them talking a lot. Number 4, camp out on your must-haves. I gave you that list of my 3 must-haves. I'll spend a great deal of time on each of those until I'm fully satisfied that they possess those qualities. So, for example, if I'm trying to find out if they're organized or not, I'll have them take out their planner. Show me your calendar. Show me how you manage your to-do list. Show me how you use CRM to keep track of all the commitments you've made to your customers and all the details you've picked up. I want to see the level of detail you collect on each person that you deal with and each account that you call on. We're going to camp out on that. And if you can't convince me you're leveraging these tech tools like CRM and social media to maximum effect, well, we're done. And I'm going to keep looking. It's so important to camp out on those must-haves. And of course, checking references. I have a good story about this. So a policeman working a downtown beat in the middle of the night, one of his jobs is to go check on each store to make sure it's locked. And one of the things they do when they check that door is they rattle the snot out of that door handle. They give it a good shaking because they're trying to make 100% sure that door is securely locked. Well, that's what references are like. Most of those doors are going to be locked, no matter how hard you shake on them. So what's the point of checking all the doors? You know that most of them are going to be locked because the one that isn't locked is a problem. And then the day you don't check references, somebody that you don't want on your team is going to come in. It's going to cost you a lot of money, time, and a lot of sleep, a lot of lost sleep until you can replace them. So don't skip that step. Okay, so I appreciate you sticking with me. If you want more, how about interview tips, compensation plans, salary negotiating skills, how to create a great bonus plan that works for you and the employee, org charts, job descriptions. I have a whole bunch of information about how to get your team to adopt CRM and use it. CRM is for smart salespeople who want to get great results. It's not Big Brother. And how to hold salespeople accountable for results. These are just some of the things that you're going to find in our new group coaching program. Make sure you go to winesalessimulator.com, get on the wait list. We're going to do a major launch in middle of May, probably the 18th of May. You want to make sure you're alerted so you can attend. Get on the wait list. I mentioned the classrooms. We have 12 different classrooms, and you can see them here. These 2 are the ones that we really get into the modern sales approach and how to build a high-performance sales team. So don't miss out on getting on the wait list. And lastly, if you're interested in how to do LinkedIn Live, I'm happy to help you. I love StreamYard. That's the streaming software I use. I'd be honored if you'd use my affiliate link. If you have more interest in this, just send me a message in LinkedIn, or you could even leave a comment on this video. Let me just check and see if there's any questions for our live audience. I don't see any questions or comments. There's a little bit of a lag between me asking for questions and or you typing in them, me being able to see them. So I'll hang out for just another minute in case there are lingering questions. And this is being recorded. So if you want to get a copy of this and share it with other people at your company, or maybe you want the owner of your company, or maybe you're an owner and you want your sales leader to see this, the recording of this video will be available live on LinkedIn, but I'm also going to upload it to my YouTube channel. So you can always go to my YouTube channel and check this out. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all for coming to the broadcast, and I hope to see you again. I try to be on here every Friday at 1 o'clock, so we'll see you again.